Is an autoimmune hemolytic anemia. What are the tests used for it? Autoimmune hemolytic anemia is characterized by formation of autoantibodies against patient's own red cells. Depending upon the reactivity of the autoantibody, the autoimmune hemolytic anemia is further divided into warm antibody and cold antibody autoimmune hemolytic anemias. Warm antibody autoimmune hemolytic anemia is a condition in which the autoantibodies are reactive at body temperature, that is at 37 degrees centigrade. Cold antibody AIH is condition in which the autoantibodies react better with the patient's own red cells at 4 degrees centigrade. Warm antibody AIH conditions are, first of all, it is primary or idiopathic where cause is not known. Otherwise, it can be seen in lymphomas and leukemias. Example, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, and Hodgkin's disease. Collagen vascular diseases like SLE, that is systemic lupus erythematosus. Drugs, example, methyl dopa, penicillin and quinidine group also cause autoimmune warm type of autoimmune hemolytic anemia, and certain post-viral conditions also leads to warm antibody autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Cold antibody autoimmune hemolytic anemia is seen in cold agglutinin disease, acute infections like mycoplasma infection and infectious mononucleosis, chronic idiopathic lymphomas and lymphomas. Then paroxysmal cold hemoglobinuria, which is seen in mycoplasma infection, viral flu, measles, mumps and syphilis. What are the laboratory findings seen in autoimmune hemolytic anemia? First and foremost, there will be mild to moderate chronic anemia followed by reticulocytosis. Prominent spherocytosis in the peripheral blood is seen, where the spherocytes are of variable size as compared to equal size in hereditary spherocytosis. Positive direct Coombs test for the presence of warm antibodies on the red cell best detected at 37 degrees centigrade. A positive indirect Coombs test at 37 degrees centigrade may indicate the presence of large quantities of warm antibodies in the serum. Unconjugated or indirect hyperbilirubinemia will be noticed in case of autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Coexistent immune thrombocytopenia along with occasional venous thrombosis may be present, that is termed as Evans syndrome. In more severe cases, hemoglobinemia and hemoglobinuria may be present. A word on direct Coombs test and indirect Coombs test. Direct Coombs test is a type of clinical blood test used to detect the antibodies or a complement proteins attached to red blood cells. This test uses washed red blood cells without plasma, and it is used for detection of autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Indirect Coombs test is another type of Coombs test used to detect antibodies produced against the foreign red blood cells. It uses serum and used prior to the blood transfusion and in prenatal testing of the pregnant woman. How do you interpret the Coombs test? First, the direct Coombs test. If it is positive, then we can say that there is incomplete antibodies, that is IgG or C3d attached to the erythrocyte. If it is negative, then there is no incomplete antibodies attached to the erythrocytes. In indirect Coombs test, if it is positive, there will be incomplete antibodies of IgG or C3d complement present in the patient's serum. Mind you, this is patient serum. Direct are the antibodies attached to the erythrocytes. If it is negative, indirect is negative, there is no incomplete antibodies present in the patient's serum. So direct Coombs test, how do you do? Blood sample from the patient with immune-mediated hemolytic anemia is taken, where it has got antibodies which are shown attached to the antigens on the RBC surface. Then the patient's washed RBCs are incubated with anti-human globulin, that is called as Coombs reagent. Then there will be agglutination of the RBCs. This is because of anti-human antibodies form a links between RBCs by binding to the human antibodies on the RBCs. What is this indirect Coombs test? This test is performed to detect the presence of Rh antibodies or the other antibodies in the patient's serum in the following conditions. That is to check whether Rh negative woman has developed anti-Rh antibodies, or anti-D may be produced in the blood of an Rh negative person by exposure to the D antigen by transfusion of Rh positive blood. Pregnancy, if the patient is Rh positive, that will lead to erythroblastosis fetalis. In order to prevent that, we have to do the indirect Coombs test. Abortion of Rh positive fetus. What happens in indirect antiglobulin test? That is indirect Coombs test. Antibodies sensitize the red cells during the incubation at 37 degrees centigrade. Following the wash step, anti-human globulin reagent is added. This anti-human globulin reagent completes the bridge between the red cells, allowing for the visible agglutination. A word on hemosiderin, or this is nothing but existence of hemosiderin in the urine. occurs with chronic intravascular hemolysis, in which the hemoglobin is released from the RBCs into the bloodstream in excess of binding capacity of haptoglobin. Now, what is this haptoglobin? Haptoglobin it binds to circulating hemoglobin and reduces the renal excretion of hemoglobin, preventing the tubular injury. The excess of hemoglobin is filtered by kidney and reabsorbed in the proximal convoluted tubule, where the iron portion is removed and stored in the form of ferritin or hemosiderin. The tubule cells of proximal tubule slough off with hemosiderin and are excreted in the urine, producing a brownish color to the urine. It is usually seen 3 to 4 days after the onset of hemolytic condition. Hemoglobinuria is another important indicator of intravascular hemolysis, but disappears more quickly than hemosiderin, whereas hemosiderin stays longer time in the urine. Therefore, hemosideриnuria is better marker for intravascular hemolysis. Because of intermittent presence of hemosideриnuria, urinary iron levels may be quantified to establish the presence of chronic intravascular hemolysis. What is this haptoglobin? It's a protein that in humans is encoded by the gene HP gene. In the blood plasma, haptoglobin binds to free hemoglobin compared to hemopexin that binds to free heme released from the erythrocytes with high affinity and therefore inhibits its oxidative activity. The haptoglobin and hemoglobin complex will be then removed by the reticuloendothelial system, that is mostly the spleen. In clinical settings, the haptoglobin assay is used to screen for and monitor the intravascular hemolysis. In intravascular hemolysis, free hemoglobin will released into circulation, hence haptoglobin will bind to the hemoglobin. This causes a decline in the haptoglobin levels. Now this chart will show you the urine and plasma findings with intravascular hemolysis. So whenever there is moderate hemolysis, what happens to urinary findings? Bilirubin is absent, urobilinogen is normal or elevated, hemoglobin is absent, hemosiderin is absent. In plasma, bilirubin is elevated, that is conjugated bilirubin is elevated. Haptoglobin is decreased when hemoglobin will be elevated. This is what happens in moderate hemolysis. But in marked hemolysis, in urine, there won't be any bilirubin present. Urobilinogen may be elevated, hemoglobin may be present, hemosiderin may be present in the later stages, that is detected after 3 to 4 days. Initially, there will be hemoglobin. In plasma, we see bilirubin conjugated elevated, haptoglobin is absent, hemoglobin is elevated. So this was about the test for hemolytic anemias. Thank you.